Make it. My check. What is going on, people? Welcome back to the market. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you guys can hear me clearly coming into the airwaves, not the airwise, give me a quick thumbs up. And let's get the show in the row, people. Welcome back to the market. Happy Tuesday. Happy Eve of the New Year's Eve. December 30th, the second last day of the year. The second last day of the year. All right, people. Let's get into this. Interesting. If you haven't yet, of course, smash the like button, engage with the video. For those of you guys who are new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you guys get these updates when we go live every single day. Every single day. Good morning. All right, so I want to kick things off by taking a look at Dan Ives 2026 look of what names to own and what names he thinks will be some of the best performers in the new year. Let's start there. All right. Now, a quick reminder for all you guys who have not taken a look at the trading community, feel free to do so before January 1st, which is Friday. Just want to remind you guys that is coming up in literally a day and a half. Okay. Link should be posted in chat. If not, I will post it. After January 1st, prices do change, but there is a 10-day trial going on right now, okay? Quick heads up. Outside of that, let's get the show on the road with our guy Dan Ives and the Dan Ives jacket, of course. The classic Dan Ives jacket. Actually, now that I think about it, before I get to Dan Ives, a few things to note here. All of the oil names are up this morning. All of them. Just want to put that on the radar. All of the oil names are up. For those guys from the Discord, USO is still looking pretty good here for a breakout. And I don't know when the last time is that we had a chat about this, but we did have some calls for January that were looking pretty good just a few days ago. I mean, last week they were looking pretty good. Just a quick reminder, they're still very valid and almost back in the money again. All right. Now that we've done that, now let's get into the video here. I wanted to just bring oil back up because it's very important. A lot of these oil names are up right now. I don't know what's going on right now with Taiwan, with Iran. There's a lot of tension going on right now in the Middle East and in Asia. Oil is back up again. Here we go.
All right, in the meantime, Wedbush Securities today out with its top tech names to own into next year. Among them, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Palantir.
So just a little quick review here. For those of you guys who are just jumping in, welcome into the channel. If you haven't yet, of course, smash the like button, engage the video, guys. This is going to be a quick breakdown of some of the top names to hold in 2026. And our guy, Dan Ives, breaking down where he thinks a lot of these names are going and how he thinks they could potentially provide us with a lot of value. Okay, here we go.
All right, in the meantime, Wedbush Securities today out with its top tech names to own into next year. Among them, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Palantir, CrowdStrike. One name that you're not seeing on that list, NVIDIA. Dan Ives behind the call. He is the global head of technology research, and I have to issue the biggest correction in the history of my career, which is now that you're in the light, that jacket is not McLaren papaya. It is, I would dare say, peach.
Look, I mean, I'll take both sides. Again, you never...
That vital correction now aside, why is NVIDIA not on your tech names to own next year, Dan?
Yeah, look, it's still, I mean, still in our Ives AI 30, a top tech name. But ultimately, to me, in terms of the five that stick out, it's really about how do you play the AI revolution on the hyperscaler? How do you play it on the consumer in terms of Apple? How do you play it on enterprise with names like Palantir, CrowdStrike, cybersecurity? Brian, I view it as like NVIDIA, there's only one godfather of AI, Jensen. We'll see him next week at CES. But the derivatives, the second, third, fourth, just starting, which is why we're so bullish in tech.
You're in the Hall of Fame, Dan, regardless of color. Although Oscar Piastri just emailed me and mentioned that he actually thinks the color is a McLaren papaya.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Vroom, vroom.
With that said, what does
Challenge.
Palantir, what do their revenues need to be? They're going to do $6.5 billion of revenue next year to justify a $500 billion valuation, in your opinion.
Yeah. Look, I mean, to me, and we've talked about it a bunch, it's that it's ultimately it's the commercial business that I believe could ultimately be $2-3 billion when I see it playing out. I mean, I think when you actually do the trajectory here, I think numbers where you see for Palantir in 2026, I think they ultimately double over the next 3 to 4 years. And it speaks to the point. Super expensive stock today. But I just view it, I think it's $1 trillion valuation in the next 2 or 3 years as the AI revolution plays out.
So
Palantir is one of those names that people do have a tough time with when it comes down to the valuations. Palantir is one of those names that people simply cannot justify buying at the current price range. Although, when you do look at Palantir's price range and you do look at Palantir's chart, it looks insane, right? When I pull up this chart for Palantir, it looks insane. This looks like a lot. When you take a look at how much this stock has grown over the past few years here, we're talking about in 2023, in May 2023. It's not even the bottom, right? It's not even the bottom. In May 2023, when it had a huge earnings report and it ripped, it was trading at $7.50. It is now currently up 2,379% since then. All right. Now you can pull up names like Hood, that all the way back in November of 2023, we're trading at $8 and are now currently trading at $120, and we're up to $153 as well. So these are just an example of some of the names that people say, hey, yes, they've gone up a lot. They're significantly higher than they were before. But this does not mean that the end of the road is now. This is just a bump along the way, and the trajectory is still much higher. Whether or not it gets there, it's up to their earnings report.
Everyone knows you for these marquee names. And when you go into CES, what I always look at are a portfolio of names that are going to shock people, something that shows up. If you search anything with CES, you'll see robotics come up. What are the names you see you meet with everyone, both private and public companies? What companies are going to be there and have impressed you already?
Yeah, I think when it comes to robotics, I think maybe like a off the radar name that we're bullish, Serve, like Serve AI. When you look what they're doing on robotics on the delivery side, what I view is actually true autonomous playing out. They'll be there front and center. And look, Steve, to me, it's really like the autonomous is going to be front and center here. It starts what Jensen's going to lay out, but this speaks to autonomous robotics is going to be key to what I view as and that's one of the core names.
All right, Dan, talk to us about RPOs. This is not the run pass option. This is the remaining purchase obligations here. Not something that I think a lot of folks were talking about too much until this summer when we saw, that huge OpenAI contract with Oracle, and a lot of investors were really excited. And, as an analyst, though, you see this big number, right? You see a $500 billion purchase obligation. How do you think about that? It's not in your numbers, right? Mm-hmm. But it helps kind of formulate how you're thinking about future revenue. To me, the market called BS on this with Oracle. And how do you think about it? Is this something we're going to see? Maybe some of these contracts not come to fruition.
Look, I think we sit here a year from now. I think actually one of the names that's going to stick out is sort of the renaissance that's going to happen in Oracle. Because to me, when I look at what's happening, where they play from the stack play, where they play in terms of AI revolution, I think investors are wrong to call out that this RPO, what I've ultimately, in a re-acceleration of growth, that's going to go from 18% to 30% to 45%. I think 80 and 90% of that gets done. So to me, would I take out 5% debt if I had a 100% chance to ultimately do what they could do? Yeah, and I think that's what they're doing. I think that's why Oracle, to me, right here, it's a $78 upside, $15 downside, risk reward.
All right.
Okay, guys. So that is a breakdown for what Dan Ives believes will be some great plays in 2026. Now, to me, there's going to be a lot more. To me, there are a lot more plays that I think will have a lot more upside that I think are not on the radar. We're not going to get into each and every one of those plays now, but I do think that those are some much more obvious plays. Those are some winners that will continue to progress higher. I think there are some losers in 2025 that will become significant winners in 2026. And that to me is where a lot of the money will be made from a, long-term perspective, if you will. All right. Now, this morning, as in right now, the market is seeing a very interesting mix of price action. One, the SPY, the Qs opening and sitting pretty flat this morning. All right. We're getting towards the end of the year. We're getting towards another holiday day. Interesting. The SPY is back at roughly around 687.39, which is a key level of support that I have all the way back from Tuesday, October 28th. And it seems to be a level that's been used as a key level of resistance and support. We failed to hold above 687, and we can see the market pulling back down towards 686 and much further. Of course, let me put on the extended hours here just so we can get an idea for, if we lose 687, I think the next level down for the market will be 683, followed by 679. But we haven't lost it yet. We're holding on for dear life. And the Qs also look a little bit like a head and shoulder pattern here, which is going to be interesting. I could see the Qs coming back down if it were to fail back down below 617 towards 610. And 610 has been a huge level for the Qs over the last few weeks here. So something to watch, especially with liquidity at a minimum right now. Tesla with a slight gap up. This is fine. I think a lot of the Tesla puts that were just piling in yesterday exited this morning, or exited yesterday morning, my apologies, after the significant drawdown, which is fine. But I want to see if Tesla can hold this gap up or if it fills immediately. If Tesla holds this gap, we could see a little bit of a reversal here with this look here in the pre-market. I'll be looking for something like this with Tesla today. More so to exit shorts, but also maybe to get some calls for February, March. We'll see how that plays out. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's take a look over here with oil, though. Something is afoot. Something is afoot. Copper is up again after being down yesterday. Rocket Lab is also up again. So some of the space names are showing green again. Solar names are trying to show some life. Yeah, that's great. But oil was up yesterday and up today. UNG is up 5% in the pre-market. Wow. ARQ's up 1%. USO's up 1%. USO, guys, this is on the brink of a significant 6-month trendline breakout. Another one, XOM. I mean, XOM could also be looking at new all-time highs if this thing's not careful here. All right, maybe I'm mistaken. Hold on. No, I'm correct. Yeah, there is a possibility that this thing looks to see new all-time highs fairly soon here. This is interesting. You're in UNG? Yeah, not bad. Oxy's coming out of a key level of support here. Had a little bit of a tough time all the way back here in November 2020. We know that. But minus that, this is a key level of support for Oxy. If Oxy can hold this demand level here, we could see another retest here of this trend line all the way back from 2011. So to me, that's a much better trend line here. This was a tough time for oil. Yeah, that COVID time period was a tough time for oil, but that time is done now. This is another one. I can just clear all of this stuff off the chart right now and look at this. From a weekly perspective and say, hey, look, if this trend line cracks, this is a trend line all the way back from November 2022. I'd be watching this a little bit closer here. And US oil is fine. Okay, we'll watch out for Tesla and this on this upside here. Let's see here. Some of the top names that I'd be looking at this morning. Very simple. Amazon. The liquidity is low for these names here, but Amazon has been consolidating for 3 days here as the 9 EMA has been catching up. Let's take a look. Hmm. No real crazy call flow here. Microsoft is in the same boat. Google is in the same boat as well. I really do like all three of these names here, but and the quantum names are also moving as well this morning. Interesting. Come on now. Come on, quantum names. Let me just see here. Quantum names. QBT is up 1%. IONQ is up 2%. RGTI is up as well. Okay. A lot of these names are trying to make moves here, which is fine. A lot of these quantum names are trying to make moves here. Yes. If you guys have not yet smashed the like button, appreciate that. If you guys would, of course, but for everybody else who already has, happy holidays. Great year. Kicking things off with a freaking bang is the idea. NEO is up 4% this morning. XBEV is also up this morning. So is Baba, but I want Baba to come lower. No big deal. Any memes up today? Not so much. BYND's up 4% today. Nvidia's green. I wonder if Nvidia's it's time to break out. I wonder if it's finally time for Nvidia to break out of this trend and crack over 188. If Nvidia breaks over 188, it gets crazy. This does look like a head and shoulder pattern here. I just don't want to see this thing. I don't want to be on the wrong side of this trade if it does break out of this 188 level here. It looks like it's flagging to break out. Let me just take a look at the flow yesterday for Nvidia. Eesh, 18 mil. I've seen better. I've seen worse. Crazy. Crazy. SLV. SLV is back up again. So SLV is at a key level here, right? This is basically where it was in the pre-market yesterday before it saw a significant drawdown towards 63 bucks. So, this is a level where I think you're going to have basically like a gap fill level of resistance, I would call it, right? Roughly between 69.50 and 71 bucks. That's going to be the key level to watch, right? Failure to break above 69.50. You have another gap fill back down here that I keep an eye out for as well. All right, you're going to see a little bit of a sandwich here for SLV. And it's going to cross. Let me just do this. Okay. there's going to be an interesting amount of friction in this area here with SLV. So I would just be very careful. You basically want to see this thing hold above wherever it gaps up to continue closing the gap towards the upside. There will be obviously a gap down as well, and bulls and bears will be fighting for this thing right out the gate. Okay, keep your wits about you with SLV into the open. ARQ is up. Rocket Lab is up. Interesting, very interesting. Okay. I think the main watch today, I mean, NVIDIA is going to obviously be on the main watch. It's going to be Amazon. I'm watching for that. Microsoft. I'm watching for that. Google. I'm watching for that. All three of these names here have consolidated over the past 3 days. This is going to be a Mag 7 watch day today. There are a few other names here that I haven't on watch list. For those of you guys in the Discord here, you guys already know what those names are. But that's more from a macro perspective, share plays and all that jazz. We'll see. Okay, we will see. Guys, thank you guys very much for tuning in this morning. We are going to leave things there. We are heading towards another holiday on Thursday. So please, please, please be very careful. Nike, I forgot to pull up Nike. It looks decent here. I mean, Tim Cook bought in for 3.5 mil. So, I mean, you know, long term, I'm sure this is going to be a great little dipping buy to look back on and say, hey, remember when it came back down towards $60 and I bought in? Yeah, now it's trading at $100 years from now. But I don't think it's a bad buy. I just think that if it's long term, sure. Short term, I don't see much of a setup here at this time. Yeah, I would just watch it. Long term, have at it. If you got patience and time, I'm sure it will have a shockingly good quarter at some point in time. One of these earnings reports are bound to kill it. You know what I mean? All right, guys. We will catch you guys on the next one. I'll be back live again tomorrow. And later on tonight, guys, I will be having another market update video. I would definitely check out the video that I put out last night if you have not watched it yet. Great video on Wyckoff distribution. I like more like an introduction video to it. And for those of you guys who don't understand Wyckoff, I would definitely go to the channel, watch the last video. That will give you a good indication of what to look for if the market does sell off. So you kind of have a little bit of a early indication of what those signals will look like, so you don't get caught slipping. Okay, just a quick reminder, guys, if the market does fall off a cliff, the video that I put out last night will be a great video for you guys to watch. You guys can get an idea for what it will look like before it happens. All right, for those of you guys who want to live chat with us, guys, there is a 10-day trial link in the description below for the Discord. We will be there live trading after the market opens. Outside of that, much love. Twitch, I got your points. Mod Squad, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Catch you guys next one. Deuces.